Long before cities were etched into the earth, before towers of stone and walls of clay, before names were written in cuneiform or kingdoms drawn on parchment, there was simply life. Raw, slow, deeply woven into the land. The year is 10,000 BCE, and if you opened your eyes to the world, you wouldn't see civilization as we know it. You'd see vast horizons, endless forests, and rivers that whispered only to the wind. This was a time before timekeeping. A world before rulers, clocks, or currency. And yet, life thrived. You are not watching from above. You are not a tourist here. You are alive, here, in this world. One of a few million humans scattered across the globe. You wake not to the sound of a phone, but to the crackling light of dawn over a grassy plain. Maybe you're by the edge of a great forest. Maybe you're somewhere near the Fertile Crescent, where wild grains now grow waist-high. There are no fences, no signs, just the rhythms of the earth, and your place within it. You don't live in a city. You don't live in a village. You live with a small group, your band, 15, maybe 20 people. You know every face, you know the lines on your hand. You've seen them laugh, grieve, bleed, and survive. These people are not neighbors. They're everything. Your shelter isn't permanent. Sometimes it's a cave you've returned to many times. Sometimes it's a hut of branches and hides. You don't think of owning it. When the game moves on, so will you. Home is not a place, it's a moving circle, a shared fire, a rhythm of survival. The sun is your only clock. The season's your only calendar. And yet, your life is rich in time. The kind of time we've forgotten, time to think, time to feel, time to simply be. You rise with the day. Your feet touch cold ground. You stretch without knowing the word for it. Around you, the rest of the band stirs. Children giggle softly, an old woman tends the fire, someone is sharpening a bone tool. The air is clean in a way modern lungs would marvel at. You smell the earth. Ash. Fur. Rain. Your hands are calloused. Your back aches sometimes. But your body is yours, strong. Adapted. It has carried you through rough terrain, through injury, through hunger and healing. You know it deeply. You eat when food is found. There is no pantry, no storage, no feast waiting behind a wooden door. But there's food, if you know where to look. You know which roots to dig, which berries not to touch. You know how to move through a forest without becoming prey. You don't hunt in the way movies show it. You stalk. You wait. You fail, often. But when a deer falls, it feeds everyone. Your meals are small, often simple. Seeds, tubers, bits of fish or bird. But the sharing of food is sacred. Nothing is wasted. No one is left out. This isn't generosity, it's survival. A lone human dies. A bonded group lives. You don't read, because reading hasn't been invented yet. But you remember stories, hundreds of them. Passed down by voices under the stars, of how the first fire came. Of the giant beasts that once walked the land. Of the ancestors who became rivers and trees. These stories shape your world. They tell you who you are, where you belong. And when someone dies, their story doesn't end. It changes shape, and you carry it. The world is quieter than you'd expect. But not silent. Birds call. Insects hum. The river chatters endlessly. Your ears are tuned to danger. You know the meaning of a sudden silence in the woods. You know when the sky is about to break into rain. No weather app. Just instincts honed over generations. You don't think of the future. You think of next season. Of the coming winter. You don't save for retirement. You prepare the young. You pass on tools, not trophies. Lessons, not legacies. There's no ambition to be remembered. Living well, today, is enough. Children are everyone's responsibility. They grow up watching, copying. There's no school, but there's endless learning. How to make fire. How to track an animal. How to mend a wound. Every adult is a teacher. Every mistake is a lesson that could mean the difference between life and death. You don't have a job. You don't specialize. You are a generalist. One day you forage, another day you help skin a kill. You know how to weave, how to walk for hours barefoot without injury, how to carve wood into a tool you need. You are deeply capable. Not in one thing, but in many. There is no written law. But there are rules, unspoken, often. Who gets first share of meat? Who watches the children when others are gone? What happens when someone breaks a bond of trust? And though there's no court, disputes are real. Jealousies, grudges, mistakes. These things have always existed, but they are solved not with exile or prison, but with words, rituals, shared silence. You can't afford long-term enemies when there are 20 of you in the world. Night comes slowly. You've seen it arrive 1,000 times. The sun tilts, shadows stretch, the wind cools. The world turns golden, then dark. Someone stirs the fire. A child leans against their mother. The elders begin to speak, not commands, not lectures, but stories, patterns, myths. And everyone listens. You sleep near others. You always do. Not because you're weak, but because humans were never meant to sleep alone. You drift off to the sound of breathing, fire crackle, and distant owls. You have no pillow, but you have peace. No alarms. No nightmares about deadlines. Just the soft hum of life continuing. There are no books, but your memory is sharp. There are no museums, but your mind is filled with art, the painted walls of a cave, the spiral of a shell, the song your mother sang when she cleaned a fish. There are no armies, but you know fear. You know what it means to move quickly, to hide, because not every other group is friendly. And danger doesn't always wear teeth. There is no religion, not the way we define it now. But there is reverence. You bury the dead with care. You mark the passing of seasons with gesture, dance, and fire. You speak to the wind sometimes, and listen as though it might answer. You do not think of yourself as poor. You do not think of yourself as rich. Those words haven't been born yet. You are not a worker, not a citizen, not a subject. You are just human. And this messy, quiet, aching, beautiful life is what it means to be alive. And slowly, over the centuries, things will change. You will begin to plant seeds, rather than just scatter them. You will stay longer in one place. You will discover that wheat, if guarded, can feed many. And then, slowly, painfully, cities will emerge. With walls. And leaders. And rules written on stone. Grain will become taxes. Homes will become property. And the wild places will grow smaller. But in 10,000 BCE, none of that has happened yet. You are not lost. You are not behind. You are simply human, living at the speed of nature, surrounded by sky and soil. There are no titles, no hierarchy, just life, shared and fleeting. And if you could whisper forward, into the ears of those living now, in towers of glass, under fluorescent lights, you might say this: you haven't escaped the wild. You've only forgotten it. And somewhere, deep in your bones, the rhythm of 10,000 BCE still beats, still waits, still knows. You feel the sun warming your skin as the cold night recedes. It's the end of the ice age, but the air still carries a chill in the early morning. Your people, maybe 20, maybe 50, are stirring beside the coals of last night's fire. They are your kin, your tribe, your only world. There are no cities yet. No paved roads, no written words, no machines. You don't need them. You carry the world in your body, its rhythms, its hunger, its patience. You rise, stretch, and begin the day not with a plan, but with instinct. Your group is always moving. Not aimlessly, no, but according to the pulse of the seasons, the migrations of game, the cycles of wild berries, roots, and fish. You know this land better than you know your own face. You could follow the herd trails in darkness. You know which plants soothe a burn, which leaves sting, which bark can be boiled to make the old pain ease. This morning, you set out to hunt. You don't go alone, that would be foolish. You move in near silence, communicating in gestures, watching the ground. A snapped twig, a paw print in mud, the glisten of fresh dung. Every sign tells a story if you know how to read it. And you do. Your weapon is simple. A spear, hardened in fire, maybe tipped with stone, obsidian chipped by hands that know exactly how to split the edge so fine it can slice skin with a whisper. No iron, no bronze. Just muscle, focus, and centuries of inherited memory passed down not in books, but in stories told around the fire. The hunt is not glorious. It's hard. It's long. And often, it fails. But today, you and your companions return with meat, a young deer. It is carried back with reverence. Nothing will be wasted. The hide will clothe. The bones will shape tools. The sinews will become cords. The meat will feed not just bodies but souls, in a ceremony that binds you all to the earth, to the beast, to the story of survival. The women and children weren't idle in your absence. They've gathered roots and herbs, watched the young, patched clothing, repaired shelters. There's no sharp divide between male and female, not like the distant civilizations to come. Everyone does what must be done. Everyone has value, or the group falters. You live close to the bones of the world. There's no room for pride here. No room for rulers or vanity or cruelty. You don't take more than you need because there isn't more than you need. Greed hasn't been invented yet. You sleep under the stars when the weather allows. You know the constellations not by their names, but by their seasons, when they rise, what they signal. The stars tell you when to move, when to wait, when to gather, when to hunt. They're more reliable than words. When someone falls sick, you don't turn away. Illness is a spirit, a weight in the blood. The elders carry cures in their memories, moss, sap, smoke, and bone chants. Not all survive. Death is close, always. But so is life. And in that fragile balance, you find meaning. There are no clocks, but you still measure time. The moon's face by heart. The tides it pulls, the madness it stirs. You watch the changing light in the sky, feel the dampness in the air that whispers of rain. Children are named for the moment they're born. Red sky, cold river, bird cry. Each name is a story, a memory, a place. You don't own land. You belong to it. When you walk, you don't conquer. You listen. Every tree, every stone, every gust of wind carries presence, spirit. You don't call it religion, it just is. You've seen death, but you've also seen birth. A baby wailing into the morning, eyes squinting at the sun. A mother crying, not in pain, but in awe. Life beginning again. The circle turning. You've made tools, shaped with care. Each one an extension of your hand, your mind. Your fire was stolen from the lightning once, long ago, and guarded ever since. Fire is more than heat, it's memory. It's what separates you from the beasts. But you don't see beasts as less. You learn from them. The wolf teaches how to move in packs. The raven shows you where death lingers. The bear reminds you to respect hunger. Everything around you is a teacher. There are no schools, no pens, no letters. And yet, you are not ignorant. You are wise in ways forgotten. You know how to shape a flint blade by feel alone. How to twist fiber into rope. How to track a hair in melting snow. How to read the silence of the forest. You speak in stories, not just for entertainment, but survival. Each tale holds a warning, a lesson, a truth. Around the fire at night, children listen wide-eyed. And so the knowledge passes on, not frozen in books, but alive in breath. There are no buildings, but there are shelters. Bent branches, hides, woven grass. They rise and fall with the seasons. They are not permanent, but then again, nothing is. Except the wind, except the sky. Sometimes, strangers come. Not often. But when they do, you don't attack. Not unless you must. You watch. You study. You offer food. A carved bone. A song. They might carry something new, a better spearhead, a strange shell from the sea. Or they might carry danger. Disease. Deceit. You weigh the risk. And you remember. Because your memory isn't written. It's lived. Every scar, every burial mound, every smooth stone in the river is part of your archive. You don't build temples. Your gods are not shaped in gold. They are the rain, the fire, the birth cry of your child, the last breath of the dying. And yet, you are not primitive. That word comes later, used by those who forget what it means to live with the land instead of over it. You are not savage. You are not simple. You are not lost. You are human. And the earth remembers your footsteps. Your time will pass. You do not know that. You cannot see the cities rising far in the future, the towers, the machines, the noise. You don't know about borders drawn in blood, or gods used to justify war. You don't know about concrete or bombs or bureaucracy. You know how to survive, how to live slowly, how to listen to wind in the grass and know a storm is coming. And, perhaps, you are freer than we are now. Freer because your time belongs to you. Freer because your food is earned, not bought. Freer because your gods are near, not distant. Freer because your hands know the world in a way we've forgotten. Before the first cities, before walls, before money. You lived. Fully. Wildly. Present. And though the bones of your world are buried now beneath parking lots and skylines, though your footprints are long erased by time, we remember. Because somewhere in us, buried deep beneath wires and passwords and schedules, that ancient rhythm still beats, still walks barefoot across a frozen field at dawn, still looks up at the stars and knows their names, without ever needing to speak them. Still listens, not for words, but for silence. And wind. and fire, and the long memory of Earth.